Coming off of a devastating injury in 2024, Deontae Lawson is back on the field, but fans have questions. Let's talk about it. This is Way Offsides. Let's go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Way Offsides. No hat today, so the green screen's really popping. But welcome to Way Offsides, where we do everything everybody else does. We just do a little different. Lots going on in the world of college football, but before we get into any of it, leave a big Roll Tide down in the comment section and tell me who you're most excited to see take the field in just over 3 weeks for Alabama football. Injuries are a big part of your season. Injuries are a part of the sport. It is a full contact sport. I've seen anybody remember the ESPN show like Sports Science? They should bring that back, by the way. I remember seeing an episode where they compared getting hit by a D1 athlete, or maybe it was an NFL linebacker, but whatever. Getting hit by one of these guys head on is equivalent to the same force generated from taking a hit from a Mack truck at 25 miles per hour. Taking it hard. Pause. Sorry. Moving on. It's a physical sport. Things happen. Injuries are part of the season. There's something that you have to plan and prep for and make sure that your guys lower on the depth chart are ready, are prepared to step in and do their job, assuming the worst as well. That did happen last year to Alabama football in several different position groups, but one was at the sting position, the linebacking position, Deontae Lawson. We all know that in the Oklahoma game last year, Lawson went off the field with apparent knee injury. It ended up being an ACL. Really, really tough injury to watch or to see, especially for a guy like that. Now, luckily, Alabama had guys like Jihad Campbell who were playing lights out throughout the season, and so it was a big loss, but it didn't feel like it was the end of the season. Now, moving into 2025, you bring Deontae Lawson back. Obviously, the guy has worked his ass off to get back from an ACL, and he is practicing now. They're keeping him on a snap count, protecting him. I expect him to play a little bit against FSU. I don't think he'll play a ton, just because you want to protect him. But when we start to look at that position or that he plays, we start to go, well, is there a lot of depth there? Right now at linebacker, Alabama does have depth, but a lot of their depth is young, whether you're talking about the Mike, Sting, whatever. They brought in some crazy dudes like Abdul Sanders, Luke Metz, Duke Johnson. But the most important person in this conversation outside of Deontae Lawson is going to be Nakai Hill-Green, the Colorado transfer, because I think that if Deontae Lawson isn't full speed, a lot of the responsibilities of Lawson are going to fall on Green. Now, what is prompting this conversation? Well, I'm in a ton of college football groups and chats, and this video was posted earlier today under much criticism. This is via Clint Lamb over at Cover Crimson. Not Crimson Cover, ripoff, over at Cover Crimson. And so I'm going to pop this up here. You watch it. You be the judge. Tell me in the comments what you see. Short video. I'll run it one more time for you. Now, what you're seeing here via Clint is linebackers practicing coming out of a mug position where they're kind of tucked up on that line and then backing out, dropping back into coverage, or, with an individual responsibility, whatever it is. But most notable, obviously, that giant knee brace there for Lawson is just the stiff movement of the linebacker And it brought up some legitimate concern and commentary from the folks in this group chat that I'm in that are kind of worried about, is he actually ready to play? Now, I've seen some of you here on YouTube have commented that you don't. There was one guy, he's a troll, I believe, but that he wasn't going to play at all the first couple of weeks of the season. And maybe that's the case. I don't know that Alabama really needs him to week 1 through 3, but obviously when they travel to Athens, they're going to need Deontae Lawson on the field. But I would imagine that they want to get him some reps, some live reps prior to jumping into SEC play at Georgia, right? So I don't really know. Just looking at the video myself, yes, I mean, it's obvious. The movement's not fluid. It could just be the back, moving backwards off the line. He's just not comfortable with that. But obviously, it looks like he's not 100%. And that's okay. It's okay to say that out loud. It's concerning to Alabama fans because Deontae Lawson is such a big component of this year's team. We're talking about a guy that some people feel could work himself up into the upper echelons of the NFL draft, maybe not go as high as Jihad Campbell. But Lawson, if he brings that same kind of sideline to sideline fierceness that Campbell did last year, the general feeling amongst Alabama fans is that the drop off there at the linebacker position isn't going to be substantial. Now, this is, to me, is the biggest question mark in terms of position groups on the team, simply because of the youth. That is where I kind of get hung up and a little nervous. You've got guys like Caden Jones and QB Reese. I think Jones is a sophomore, but the age there, it's just the experience there is not ideal. It's not ideal for Alabama. And so Lawson is a guy that they're definitely probably going to want to, I don't want to say baby him, but they're definitely going to want to be strategic in how they use him early on in the season as he works his way back to 100%. I mean, I'm not going to judge the guy for not being 100% right now. I think anybody that does do that is an idiot. I mean, or has never had a significant leg injury in their life. And so coming back from something like an ACL tear it's not an easy feat. It's amazing. It really is amazing. First of all, it's a credit to medical technology and advancement and how far we've come, but it's also more of a credit to these athletes because that rehab process and what they go through to get back on the field after something as substantial as an ACL tear is surmountable. It is very, very hard work that we don't get to see. It goes on behind the scenes. It goes on at the individual level. So there's a lot of emotional baggage that comes along with that kind of injury, having to will yourself through rehab and getting back to where you were, if you can ever get back to where you were. In some cases, you don't. And so just the fact that he's out in pads on the field is a extremely positive sign for Alabama, no matter how you feel about what he looks like going through this drill or any other drill. I feel like Lawson, obviously, we can't talk about him without talking about how important he's going to be as a leader on this team, as a verbal leader. He's going to be somebody that the younger guys look up to, that helps keep the locker room intact, not just on the field, but on the sideline as well. And so Lawson's value to this team is much more than that rep we just saw in the video. Now, Alabama's strength conditioning staff, their medical staff, their coaching staff, they're not idiots. They understand that they're likely going to have to will this carefully with Lawson, play it safe for a little bit. Alabama doesn't enter the meat of their schedule until they go over to Athens. Obviously, it's never good to take a loss at all, but if you're going to do it early in the season, but I don't think Deontae Lawson is the kind of player that Alabama would just lose because he's not on the field. And again, I do think he's going to play some. I just think he'll be limited in what he does, really to get him comfortable. When you actually think about something like ACL, the significant impact of having that injury and then having to come back to the field, not just question whether you're strong enough to do it again, but there's this gnawing, I don't know, voice in the back of your head that's constantly it could happen again. I broke my leg playing football once, and I know that after I went through the whole process, getting back out there, it was hard for a few weeks. It was hard to get used to being hit again. And, every time you get hit, you're trying to shield that injured body part. And so getting him right all the way across the board is the most important thing, not just for football and Alabama football, but for his career, for Deontae Lawson. And I'm sure this staff will handle it, and I'm sure he will be ready for the 2025 season. Hey, thanks for sticking around with me. If you haven't yet, please go leave a comment and make sure you subscribe while you're there. Hit the notification bell. Got some recruiting stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. Going to start looking at the 2027 class, and plus flip season is on the way. You're not going to want to miss any of that. So do the dang thing, please. As always, you guys know the drill. I say it at the end of every show, but it's important. Read your Bibles, say your prayers, wash your hands. Horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.